Welcome to a new edition of our show titled Speak of Africa. Thank you very much, my brothers and sisters. Today is December 31st. It's the last day of 2018, and you are really watching our last show of the year. We thank you very much for taking the time to watch our show all the time, and we appreciate the fact that you are making this show to become a little bit known by a lot of people. And we also appreciate the comments that you've been sending to us on YouTube. So we make an effort to reply to all the comments because we want to engage you on this show. This is why we started this show, because we wanted it to be your show. We wanted to engage you. As we told you last time, since this is the last day of 2018, we decided that we want to profile the top 10 personalities of the year for the African nation. Since our show is designed to promote Africa, we were looking for personalities who have actually done a whole lot to meet the goals of this show. Our goal is for Africa to become like one nation, one people, one destiny. Whenever we see a personality whose mission is to help us accomplish this goal, we put them on our checklist. Then we share this checklist with you. Most of you decided to vote. You told us the people you wanted to appear on this list. And based on the popularity of your selections, we've come up with a list of 10 candidates. Okay? And who are these 10 candidates? We want to start with number 10. Number 10 is Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin is not really an African. He is the president of the Russian Federation. Why did we make him a personality of the year? It's because he has made a lot of comments, especially since November. He has made a lot of comments pertaining to the fate of Africans. He describes Africa as a cemetery, as a graveyard. What he says really rhymes with a lot of the messages we are trying to share with you on this show. We've been telling you that let's not pretend to ourselves. Let's be real. Let's be honest to ourselves. If we're not doing well, let's say the truth. So what Vladimir Putin did was to draw attention to something we know already. But because he has a big microphone, we felt that a lot of Africans will listen to him because he's an important personality in the world. Russia is a very big country, especially in terms of military might. As much as America has defeated them in the Cold War, but Putin is really making his voice heard all over the world. In fact, he's doing this by going all over the place and making noise about Africa. In fact, he's making deals in Africa. As we've told you in the past few shows, Vladimir Putin has this dream of the Soviet pioneer past. He dreams to bring back a time when the Soviets were in control of the world. So he longs for that period to come back. It's just like a form of nostalgia. When you look at this guy, he really belongs to what we call apologists. He was a former KGB guy stationed in Germany before he became the president of Russia. So he was really lamenting the fact that the United States has really defeated the Soviets, and the Soviets as a nation have crumbled. So he has not really forgotten the last day he spent in the Soviet embassy in Germany. He cried. The place was, he had to burn documents because he did not want the world to see the dirty business that the Soviets were doing. But when he made that comment, talking about Africa being a cemetery, a place for people to die, he just says the truth. We've been saying on this show that we are a rich continent. If you look at Africa, Africa is a continent very, very rich. Since the days of William Shakespeare, so around the 16th and 17th century, a lot of Europeans were scrambling for Africa because Africa has a lot of resources. They wanted these resources and they would kill to get these resources from our people. And of course they did. Putin, as we speak, is making efforts to revive the old Soviet empire. Because when you look at what is happening to him, I put it like in 3 stages. First, what happened to Putin goes under what I call historical preoccupations. Second is self-consciousness. Third is experimentalism. Under historical preoccupations, Putin is angry when he finds himself with the United States above Russia, a superior power to Russia. So he longs to look at a way to change the trajectory of Soviet history, to make it in such a way that the Russians can be great again. So it's just like a form of nostalgia, homesickness. He's longing for that Soviet past. Since he came to power, he's been struggling to bring back this Soviet grandeur that is no more. Even though the Russians don't really have a lot of resources, apart from military might, but he's been using what he has to make noise. And he's making friends all over the African continent. In Egypt, he's making friends with Sisiku to try to build a nuclear plant. In South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa is working with him on a nuclear plant deal. And he's making all kinds of sweet deals, enticing African leaders so that they can let him come back in. As much as the Soviets have meager resources, he's struggling to do the best with what he has, okay? Self-consciousness. Self-consciousness means that he is aware of the situation in which the Russians find themselves in our time, a world in which America continues to dominate. And now China is emerging as another power, leaving the Soviets behind. Then, experimentalism. He's looking for ways to make the Soviets relevant again. So he's experimenting with different ideas, flexing his muscles left and right. So that's why we say he is the African nation personality of the year 2018, number 10. Okay? So after Putin, we're going to go to number 9.
$250 to $6,000. Quick tax refund advance made easy. It's tax season 2019. The Christmas and New Year holidays are over. Everybody's talking about the PJ tax service, the new kid in town on H&R Block's block. Why? Money, money, money. Spread the good news. Quick tax refund advance is here. It's big, bigger than ever. Put big money in your pocket fast. PJ tax service. Nobody gets your tax money back faster, instantly, quickly, and immediately. 3 tax refund disbursement choices for you in less than 24 hours. Visa e-card, paper check, and direct deposit. Get your money back without delays. PJ Tax Service has your back. It is your money, so get it now. PJ Tax Service. You like the way we do your taxes. PJ Tax Service. You feel like a lottery or a sweepstake winner. Act now. Call 301-593-4879 or 301-593-4897 or come to our office, 11207A, Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Or you can visit us online, www.pjtaxservice.com.
Number 9 also is not really an African. The number 9 personality is an American, and we call him Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump is the President of the United States of America. So why do we profile him as the African nation person of the year 2018? It is because he has injected himself in the debate on Africa's development. A few months after he came to power in the United States of America, he dismissed African countries as shithole countries. So to him, African countries were not really important because Africans treat their people badly. So he was just like holding a mirror for Africans to see themselves, to look at themselves and feel ashamed of what they do to themselves. Africans are killing their people. There's dictatorship. When you speak, they kill you. Today, if you look at many places in Africa, there is civil strife, okay? So Donald Trump was just pointing his fingers at what is happening. I know a lot of Africans do not like what he said by calling us shithole countries, but Donald Trump is a new kind of American president. In the past, we had American presidents who talk bad about Africa inside the White House, on their kitchen table. They will not want anybody to know. These were leaders who were politically correct. But Donald Trump is a disruptor. He's a new kind of president. So he wants to really say it as it is. Who do you prefer? Somebody who tells you the truth in your face, or somebody who goes behind and lies to you and pretends to be your friend when he's not your friend? So let us salute Donald J. Trump as president, and let us take the comments in stride. It's true he insulted us, but I'm not really worrying about the insult. I'm worried that we are not learning from the insult. Let's learn from that insult. Let's take that information and improve on ourselves so that we can be better. If we do that, next time we'll meet Donald Trump in a better arena where Africa has the muscle to flex and show that we have the resources. America needs our resources so we can play ball, okay? Now we're going to move to number 8. Number 8 on our list is Paul Kagame. Paul Kagame is the president of Rwanda. I know during the mid-90s, Rwanda came into the spotlight because of the genocide. A lot of people died. The French were complicit in this war. A lot of people were killed. After that, Paul Kagame decided to make this country take a U-turn. And I think today, Rwanda has become the envy of the entire world, thanks to the charismatic and able leadership of President Paul Kagame. This is a new kind of leader. It's true, some people have criticized him for staying in power for too long, but today we really want to focus attention on the fact that most of our viewers like this guy because he has put his country on the right road. A country that has gone through civil war and a genocide, when you go back to Rwanda, you will not believe that this is a country that has gone through a lot of hardship and civil war. The place looks really clean. Paul Kagame is really making Rwanda ready for business. And a lot of investors are swarming into Rwanda like moths, okay? They are going there to invest. He's creating favorable environments where people can really invest their money. And foreigners love the incentives he's giving them to invest their money. You have Volvo going in, and you have the Chinese with the textile industries. Then when you go to Kigali, people tell us the place looks beautiful. A few days ago, some of our journalists sent us pictures of a modern-day Kigali. It's a modern city, very, very clean. So why can African leaders not emulate the example of Paul Kagame? He's keeping the city clean. Every place looks nice. Conferences can now hold in Rwanda because they have the facilities. Rwanda is becoming a business hub on the continent of Africa. You will not even remember that this is a country that has gone through a genocide. So if a country that has gone through a genocide can develop this fast, then it's a shame to the other African countries, such as Cameroon, Nigeria, for not doing much to help their people, to rebuild their country. Rwanda does not really have a lot of resources, like the countries that have oil, but the leader understands that you can do the best with what you have. Instead of engaging in limitless borrowing from China, the IMF, and the World Bank, Rwanda has been making do with the little resources that it has to develop the country. So this is a lesson for other African countries. Don't wait until you have too many resources. Don't borrow if you think you want to develop your country. Use what you have. Self-reliance is the motto. Okay? Learn to do with what you have. Borrowing is not going to take you anywhere because Rwanda is not doing what Zambia did. They went and borrowed too much money from China. They cannot pay the money. Then China is taking over their seaport. We don't need such a disgrace. Okay? So Rwanda is the pride of Africa. The land of 1,000 hills is now the land of much pride. So when we look at this, we tell other African leaders, let's use Paul Kagame as a positive leader who is really trying to do much for his people. Okay? So from Paul Kagame, we're going to move now to number 7.
Life insurance money secrets of millionaires and billionaires exposed. Discover how America's rich and famous exploit these arcane tools to build fabulous wealth.
Why should these big white guys have all the fun? Let Prince Ojong, the celebrity author of The Miraculous Millionaire, show you the little understood life insurance way to riches. Are you still doubting the good things that life insurance can do for you? Trust strategies, estate planning, 401k rollover, annuity contract, cash value, education funding, executive benefits, income protection, life protection, living benefits, mortgage protection, tax-free retirement? Think and grow rich with life insurance. Your amazing journey to wealth begins by calling Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131.
Number 7 on our list is Bogolo Joy Kenewendo. She is the Minister of Trade and Investment from Botswana. Botswana is a small African country around the south, not far from South Africa. But we love this country because they tend to have good governance. The first time when we ran our African Nation Awards, we awarded the prize to South Africa. The next time, we gave the prize to Botswana because our Board of Economists was really impressed with the positive strides the country is making towards good governance. The country does very well. You can see that there's always a peaceful transition and change of leadership. But the person who has really taken us to Botswana today is Bogolo Joy Kenewendo, the Minister of Trade and Investments. She's only 31 years old, but she's in the limelight. If you go to social media, her name is everywhere. People are really amazed to find such a young lady responsible for the growth of a country. She attends a lot of conferences, and she's really positive about youth empowerment and female empowerment. So those are two goals which we see that she's really passionate about, and she's a young youth leader. As a leader, she's even met with Michelle Obama, and Michelle Obama is more like a role model. So when we look at this young lady, we say, this is a reminder to African leaders. Why not promote the young generation? We keep seeing all these old faces, tired people running African countries. Now is the time to pass the baton to the youth of today. They have fresh blood and they can take Africa to the next phase of this race. So this is just like a word to the wise. Let us give room for the young people, and we salute Ms. Bogolo Joy Kenewendo as a youth leader. Thank you very much. So now we're going to move to number 6. The number 6 on our list is President George Weah of Liberia. George Weah has been a politician just a few years ago when he became a member of parliament of his country. But before then, most people knew him as a soccer legend. Starting from Liberia, he was recognized for his talent by the leader of the Cameroon national team, the coach. So he went to Cameroon, Yaoundé, and joined the Tonnerre club. From there, he was taken to Europe and he became a wizard, winning one tournament after another. Even though he did not really participate in a World Cup, but his legendary soccer skills are everywhere. People talk about it. But today, I'm not really focusing attention on his soccer skills. I'm really looking at what he has done as president. Even though he has not been there for long, he was inaugurated in January, but he has come up with a lot of changes to move his country forward. And we salute these changes. In fact, in one of our videos, we profile President George Weah as president. He came up with the idea of new citizenship, changing the constitution to introduce citizenship so that foreigners can really benefit from Liberian citizenship. And we saluted that example as a very positive one. Second, he also introduced the idea of property rights. In one of the books which we profile in our video, we said, why does capitalism succeed in the West and fails everywhere else? It's because Fernando de Soto argued very well that it's because we lack property rights in Africa. Property rights have really been ancient. From the European era where you had a feudal system which moved to the allodial system of ownership. When you have a property, you need to have rights, and this is what they call legal bundle of rights. In real estate, the acronym for it is DEEP C. DEEP C stands for disposition, exclusion, enjoyment, possession, and control. When you have a property, you need to enjoy all these 5 rights I've mentioned, which I use the acronym DEEP C. So when you enjoy all these rights, then it's easy for you to transfer the ownership of the property to another person. And this is what really makes wealth building easy through land ownership. George Weah introduced this idea, and we think it's a salutary one, and we're asking other African countries to look for ways of building wealth. So we need to have a formal way of classifying land. Look at real estate, so that when you own land or you own real estate, you should be able to have all this bundle of legal rights, okay? You cannot own property without having rights. And I know I'm going to touch on this subject again when we start looking at South Africa. So let's move now to number 5.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.
So number 5 on our list is Atiku Abubaker. Atiku Abubaker is a politician from Nigeria. Atiku Abubaker came into the limelight when he became the vice president of President Olusegun Obasanjo. Together, they ran the country from 1999, and they had 2 terms. But Atiku had a very cantankerous relationship with his boss because he did not want Obasanjo to run for a 3rd term. Since then, he has been running to become president. This time, under the PDP, he is the presidential candidate and is running against Muhammadu Buhari. Why is Atiku number 5 on our list? First, we think he represents what is positive about African leadership. Number 1, Atiku grew up poor. So his story is just like an American story. He grew up poor, but he's done a whole lot to get himself to become wealthy. He's wealthy today, but he grew up as a very poor boy in Nigeria. His parents were against education, but he forced himself to acquire Western education. Unlike those who say Western education is bad, Atiku had embraced Western education from his infancy. His father did not want him to go to the white man's school, but Atiku forced himself to school. Okay? And to show how serious Atiku is about education, he has founded the American University of Nigeria, which is world-class, the best university in the motherland. Atiku is a supporter of education. He doesn't just talk about education, he uses his money to finance it. And today, the American University of Nigeria is number 1. If you look at all the list, no university can beat that school. So Atiku is really a positive guy because he embraces education. So he is a good Muslim. And another thing which we think Atiku featured on our list is because he's not a bad Muslim. He doesn't really support terrorism, okay? So with Atiku, I think Nigerians are going to get rid themselves of terrorism and Boko Haram. And Atiku is a good investor. So we think he's going to change the economy for the better. He has a lot of experience running businesses, beverage, oil, and real estate. So we think he's going to use this business knowledge to help the economy of Nigeria and provide employment to a lot of Nigerian youth. So we're encouraging a lot of Nigerians to vote for Atiku because Atiku is going to change the country and bring employment for the youth. The youth need jobs, and Atiku is the man who has the experience to provide jobs. And that's why he is the number 5th on our list. Number 4 is Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa. We have profiled Cyril Ramaphosa on this show. We spent time telling you that South Africa is born again because of Cyril Ramaphosa. Cyril Ramaphosa is President Nelson Mandela's protege. Nelson Mandela actually wanted him to succeed him as president, but because of politics, they brought in President Thabo Mbeki. So what makes Cyril Ramaphosa special is because, one, he's a great businessman, he's a trade unionist, and he owns big businesses in South Africa like McDonald's and MTN. And we hear he has positions of ownership in other businesses also in South Africa. In fact, he's one of the richest people in South Africa. But what really appeals to us is the fact that he loves black people. He loves his people and he wants to provide employment. He wants to get rid of corruption. President Zuma was disgraced because of corruption. That's how Cyril Ramaphosa became president. So he wants to fight against corruption and he has everything going for him with experience. So the youth are going to get more jobs. So we think it's a very, very positive figure, which is why Cyril Ramaphosa is our number 4 on this list. Cyril Ramaphosa, President of South Africa. Okay? We move to number 3. Number 3 on our list is Abiy Ahmed, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. This guy is a very educated guy. He has a master's degree in engineering and he has also had some military training. But we love the fact that he's a reformer. Since he came, he has brought changes to Ethiopia, economically, socially, and politically. Economically, he has tried to privatize a lot of state-owned corporations and monopolies, which is a positive move. Take, for example, Ethiopian Airlines. Then look at the e-visa program. He has made it easy for Africans to travel to Ethiopia without the problem of obtaining visas. So we think that's really, really positive. Then he has also released a lot of prisoners from jail. Political prisoners have been languishing in Ethiopia before he became prime minister. So he has made it possible for these prisoners to be free. And when you look at him, he's a man of the people. The people love him, and he's really doing much to change the fate of Ethiopia. But perhaps more important, what has been hammering Ethiopia has been the war between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Since the ascendancy of Abiy Ahmed, he has worked very hard to stop the war between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Today, Eritrea and Ethiopia are friends, and you can see the rapprochement and the friendship in all what these two countries are doing. Today, they have gone back to being brothers who love each other, thanks to Abiy Ahmed. So we have a lot of pictures to show you what this new Prime Minister has done. And we also have videos on our channel which go in detail in explaining why we chose him to be the 3rd personality of the year 2018. We move to number 2. Number 2 is not a politician. She's a young singer in Nigeria called Yemi Alade. Yemi Alade is popularly known as Mama Africa because her music makes people feel good about being an African. When you watch the videos, the colors, African backgrounds. In fact, this young girl is a graduate. She holds a degree in geography. And you can see how she uses her knowledge of geography in her videos. You have local color. You don't really see Western images. No, she makes you proud to be an African. And which is why we say Yemi Alade has to be our number 2nd on this list. And when you look at her music, you can see that she's really doing what we've been telling African politicians to do. Take what is good about Africa and build on it. We don't just want modernization. Modernize Africa, but use the indigenous culture as the foundation to build on Africa. When you look at Yemi Alade, her videos will tell you that she loves Africa and she's really using this knowledge of Africa. And when you watch her videos, you really see the influences of pioneers, popular artists who went before her, like Fela Anikulapo Kuti, Oriental Brothers, Nikombaga Prince, Osita Osadebe. So you see all these guys, even Tunde Nightingale. When you look at the music of this young girl, you can really see the influences of all these old pioneers of Juju music, and Oriental Brothers also is another influence with High Life. So when you look at her videos, you feel good being an African, and she's projecting that positive image. So I think she's taking the place of Miriam Makeba as Mama Africa, and we salute her well, and we give her this respect as the African nation personality number 2. Finally, we go now to number 1. The number 1 on our list is someone who has really made the year 2018 really memorial. In fact, we started our show on January 5th, 2018. On that day, this personality, Sisiku, Julius Ayuk Tabe, the president of Ambazonia. I know most of you have never really heard about Ambazonia, but we've been profiling this individual on our shows many times, and we've been reporting on what is happening. In fact, things got hard to a point that YouTube even suspended us from posting some videos because we're sharing a whole lot of information about what is happening in this part of the world. Because we wanted you to know that there are people being killed in Ambazonia. So Sisiku Ayuk Tabe is really the president of Ambazonia. He was in Nigeria organizing a meeting in Nira Hotel. On January 5th, the Nigerian security forces arrested him, and against his will, he was repatriated to Cameroon to President Paul Biya to be killed. So this made so much noise. In fact, Buhari and Paul Biya were thinking that by arresting this individual and killing him, they would really destroy the revolution going on in Ambazonia. But after Sisiku Ayuk Tabe was arrested, the revolution has just been growing and growing, and today the people are clamoring for Sisiku Ayuk Tabe. It got to a point that the people in Ambazonia were really angry, and the Amba boys, the soldiers fighting for freedom from Cameroon, they started fighting and killing a lot of soldiers because they thought Sisiku Ayuk Tabe has been killed. But right from the little dungeon cell where he finds himself, he's still wielding a whole lot of power and influence. So we make him our personality of the year because he is the one who has really dominated 2018. When you read the news, he's all over. The young people are on social media. The white people and the Western world may not be talking much about him because Paul Biya gives them our oil. But when you go on social media, you see that the average Cameroonian is supporting Sisiku Ayuk Tabe. And the people are talking about him, and they are really making much noise so that people can know that this individual needs to be free. So we make him our African nation personality of 2018, Sisiku Ayuk Tabe. Who is this individual? This is an individual that when I talk about him, he reminds me of Nelson Mandela. He's a freedom fighter. Just as Nelson Mandela was against the apartheid system, Sisiku Ayuk Tabe is against the Franc-Afrique system, where the French are taking over all Cameroon's resources and Cameroonians get nothing in return. He's against that system. He's charismatic, and he too, like Mandela, is in jail. Mandela was in jail on Robben Island. Sisiku Ayuk Tabe is in jail in Konongi, in Yaoundé. In fact, the kangaroo court of Mr. Paul Biya has been playing games. They don't want to release him, but the people want him to be free. And our message is, if the Cameroonian government really wants peace, the first thing they need to do is to talk to Sisiku Ayuk Tabe. By freeing this individual, Cameroon will have peace. And that's a simple message. You can dance around. If you really want peace to return to that country, the people want their leader to be free. So don't make the mistake of killing this individual because it will create more and more problems. Already people are getting tired and angry. So Sisiku Ayuk Tabe needs to be free. The Western world realized the importance of freedom by releasing Nelson Mandela. By the same token, we're asking the government of Cameroon to release Sisiku Ayuk Tabe. By releasing him, peace will return to Cameroon. So that's why we make Sisiku Ayuk Tabe the personality of 2018. In fact, when you look at this individual, he is a Sisiku. Sisiku means honorable man, which is a title of a secret society of the Manu people in Cameroon. So he belongs to the top level of that society. Sisiku is not just a traditional leader, he is also a very well-educated person. He has been a professor in the University of Ngaoundere. He has a BSc in computer science and mathematics. Then he has a master's degree in control engineering. Then he is also a software engineer who has worked for Cisco. And he has also worked for utility companies in Cameroon before moving to Nigeria, where he was working for the American University of Nigeria as Chief Information Officer. So this is an individual who has a lot of resources, and we're asking the government of Cameroon to release this individual, free Sisiku Ayuk Tabe, because he is the personality of 2018. Thank you very, very much.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.